so my next project is to make some bed rails, and one theme I have in this project is I'm trying to use as much materials that I have on hand whenever possible. If it's a good enough material that I find interesting, then I'll use it if I have it on hand already. If I need to buy something, then I'll buy, a good quality, not the top quality, but the best bang for your buck quality, which is above average, but not a piece of crap. So, anyways, that's the level of the stuff I'm buying or making. So I need to make these bed rails, and I'm using some steel that I had sitting around from another project I was going to do years ago. It was to make a carport, and I ended up buying a carport. So I've got this 1 inch by 2 inch steel tubing around, and I'm going to use it. It's plenty strong. If anything, it's maybe a little heavy for this application, but I don't think that'll hurt. A little extra weight here and there isn't so bad overall. By keeping the stock ceiling and the way I'm going to be doing the panels, my build's going to be pretty lightweight, so I should be okay. Let me go show you what I'm working with here. So these are the beams I had in hand. Yeah, they got a little rusty on me. I probably had them for 10 years. There's a lot of rust and scale, and they don't look real great. Good news is that they clean up okay. There's still, there's one side good on them anyways. So anyways, what I got to do next is clean up these other two. I got one more over here on the saw. And then cut holes in the ends of them. So I'm going to put some holes in the ends to attach them to those brackets I had in the van. So I got to drill these 6 holes to screw in the plywood platform that the bed is going to sit on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill holes through the tubing, through the square tube, and then on one side I'll weld some nuts. Just 6 nuts down here. That way I turn it over, put my board down, I can come through the nuts with a pencil, mark where all the holes are on all the bars on one big piece of plywood, and then go back and drill all those plywood holes out. Through the plywood, I'm going to use a V-head, bugle head screw so it'll sit flush with the plywood. So V-hole, and then I'll just be able to screw, as I put the wood down, I'll be able to just screw right into this beam. I don't have to get underneath it and hold a nut. If you got a big platform, it's always a pain in the butt to have to screw something on the top and hold a nut on the bottom. So I'll weld nuts on all those. That'll just make things easier to install and to remove it. If I need to remove it, I could just remove that with just a drill, just pull those nuts up real fast and be able to replace the bed real easy. First of all, I got a little bit of grinding I'm going to get on right now, which sucks. So that's what's going on today, is working on these bed rails. I'm not showing a lot of action video, just more the results and what I'm doing. If you want a tutorial, there's so many good tutorials out there, and I don't really want to take the time to set up cameras and move cameras and stuff right now. I'll save that for more when I'm out playing with the van. But you know how a grinder works. I'm going to grind these things down. You know how a drill works. I'm going to drill some holes. See you in a bit. Alright, so here's my bed rail cleaned up with a bored a whole bunch of holes on there. In those holes, I'm welding some nuts in them, except for the end pieces. The end pieces are going to be bolted to those frame rails. But these are just threaded nuts. Let me show you what I'm doing. Here's my little welding station. It's probably hot. Ooh. Should have a glove. Ouch! Oh, that's too hot. Alright, I just welded these ones in a second ago. So the way I do it is I take a bolt, get a little hot and get a little sticky sometimes. It's hard to do with one hand. That's why I don't do a lot of tutorials. Alright, so I put about that much of the bolt, or the nut on the bolt. And then I go over here. These are 1/4 inch bolts and 3/8 inch holes. So you see I've got a bit of distance here. What I do is I just kind of hold it right where I want it. hold it like that with one hand, then I go and I weld that nut in. Then from the other side, purpose for all this, that when these are turned over, so theoretically I should be able to put this bolt in here and capture that nut. There you go. Just like that. So that's how I'll attach the plywood on top of these rails. That way I don't have to get underneath it and hold a spanner against that nut. So anyways, I got 3 down, 2 to go. Got a little bit of progress here. I've got a bed. Well, it's got bed rails installed. So this is the first look I've had in the daytime of what the garage is going to be. You can kind of see what I did here. I just did some grade 8 bolts through the tabs up to the top of the rails. Alright, so next step is to, I think I'm going to do 2 pieces of plywood, a left and a right plywood. I think I'm going to get them, do a template with these doors shut here in the back and cut out the 2 pieces of plywood and drop them on here. Make a bed. Get my bed together. So I got half of the bed put down. About to put the other half down here in just a few minutes, but looking forward to having that down. This is just a 3/4 inch plywood that I just sprayed a quick little clear finish on. I just temporarily got some tape on here just to keep them from rubbing the paint off of these rails, but pretty soon here I'll rip up this tape and put them on there. Got a little bit of trimming I need to do right in this back corner here to make them fit real good. Then I'll put both of the bed panels down and then drill underneath. I've got some marks, some bolts actually welded to the underside of this rail. Let's see if I can show you that. It's not going to show very well, but I've got those bolts welded down here. So I'll set the plywood down and then I'll go through and I'll mark all the spots with a drill. And take the panels out again, drill through, countersink them, and then permanently install them. Right before I install them, I'll pull up this tape, and that will give me a bed platform. I'm really excited to get this bed platform in because that's the final thing I need to do before I can actually take this thing camping. Ta-da! Not bad. So here's my new garage space. Not bad, not bad. I kind of like the whole wood look. You know, I really tried to keep this piece of wood up here looking real nice. Because I figured, you know, I'm going to be back in here working a little bit. I want it to look nice up here. So I think it does. Definitely going to have to put some lights. I think I'll put a row of those LEDs all the way around the edge and then down here a little bit and really light this up. My bolts worked out okay. So I don't have a whole lot of thread sticking out there. Show you what they look like up on this side. So they're nice and countersunk. Kind of got 2 different looks on this these boards, but they're going to be covered up by a mattress here in just a minute. I got a bed. Well, I got a bed platform. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a box out there for the bed. So on Amazon, decided not to go with a memory foam this time. Instead, I did a Nod Tuft & Needle. Tuft & Needle is the company. It's a good company. And this mattress is called the Nod. So we're going to throw that up on there, see how it looks. It's kind of small to me. Let's see what they say here. there was a lot of progress made last week. I don't know if it was a lot of actual work or just things just kind of came together, but here's what we got so far. Turn around here. So I've got this table. I mounted it just a little bit further back, put a little temporary foot down there. But most importantly is we have the bed installed. So this bed is on the rails that I made with just some plywood. I've got a ventilation thing that's coming that will go in between here to give it some ventilation under that mattress. It's a tough to needle nod mattress. I don't have my panels done up here, but I got my window coverings there. Got my little control panel for the battery and the fans. Got the fridge done. Ended up working on that base just a little bit to reupholster it, but that base just is the kicker subwoofer on there. And I put some better tie downs on the fridge here. I found these Arctic tie downs that look like they're pretty good tie downs. So that's just going up there holding the fridge down. Feels pretty good. You can't really see it, but I added a couple of turnbuckles in this back area back there just to hold this whole base down, and put a little bit of padding under here. This seemed like it would be something that I would kick, but ended up using the Marathon fabric. That's the fabric that I'm going to use on the panels. And of course the garage, I know it's dark back there. There's really nothing back there right now, but it's ready to start being loaded with camping gear. So all along I wanted to get the van to just about this state. From this point I think I'm going to slow down on some of the projects here and get using the van. Just doing some relaxing and some camping. It's nice to have the van far enough to where I feel I can get out and camp in it a little bit. So that's what's next.